Hello everyone and welcome back to Dicebreaker. We are here with someone who has not been in the new studio set up yet.
No, I haven't.
And
it's darker in here, but also
is.
better lit.
It's also been a while since you've been on a painting stream, Matt.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever done a painting stream from the office.
Really?
I've only ever done it in my own little room.
Oh my god, well, a complete first across the board.
And Wills, just for you, I made the effort of bringing the biggest miniature I think I've ever built, which is this Land Raider Spartan.
Bring it over here,
show over there
the
on
mini cam.
Look
at the size of that thing.
So yeah, this is from the new Warhammer 40k set, Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness.
Here's a standard Warhammer paint for scale.
And here's my thumb. But I do have very large hands, so not to scale.
Your hands genuinely make it look smaller. I didn't.
I've got like piano player hands.
Is this a new tattoo as well?
I've had this tattoo since January, but thank you for noticing.
Well, it's
we haven't seen
each
other much in person.
Exactly. So yeah, look, that's what we've got today.
Yeah.
I am going to be painting from Warhammer Age of Sigmar, so it's all Warhammer today.
It's a good dragon.
It's a good dragon.
It's a good dragon.
So this is from the Krondys set, son of Drugathor or whatever.
Yeah, sounds like fantasy.
But this is actually the alternative model, which is I think it's called like Karthos the Scarred or something, because you can see he's got a giant lightning star here, which, if you know the Stormcaster tunnels, storm is the clue. They do love a bit of lightning. So yeah, I'm going to be painting this guy, and I thought it would be a pretty good test of all these speed paints that we got from miniature.
Army Painter.
Army Painter,
that's the one. Yeah, so these are the kind of, I guess, rival competitor to Games Workshop's contrast paints, right?
Yes.
So I am jumping straight in with Plasmatic Bolt for what it's worth, because I plan to do these Space Marines as the Sons of Horus.
I was about to say you're doing Horus, yeah. The Zinchi.
I just want some
Chaos
turquoise
Marines.
boys, you know.
Turquoise and gold, very sort of
turquoise.
like Egyptian-esque. Yeah, it sounds good.
Oh,
all right.
They've got like a Guinness spool in them.
They do. Oh my god, there we go.
They're getting tangled under the table.
I also need to close this in here. Okay, right, so without further ado, let's get painting. Hello to everyone in the chat. We have Jan, Truce, Alex, Simkin, Hulix Angel. We've got our mod Paolo Balms. We've got Tom Mortishire Smith. Very proper name. Hermit Prime, Peter Draconis, or Peter Draconis. Dark Crispy, Fabrice Durantes, and Haley Anderson. How's everyone doing?
Welcome.
Thank you for being in the chat.
I need to find the right brush for this. I haven't painted anything that isn't just a little normal human-sized miniature in some time.
Yeah.
If you can call, I guess, Space Marines human-sized,
Well,
they're about 8
like
foot tall,
huge, aren't they? Yeah.
So yeah, I did think ahead. So I built this over the weekend with the help of my friend Rail. Thank you, Rail, for helping out. Rail, big Warhammer person. I'm glad he was on hand to help because it took us about 5 hours and we watched original series Pokemon.
We don't have any original series Pokemon for you today, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
but
sorry. But it is on Netflix, so you can go watch it there if you so wish.
It is.
But yeah, so the guns are detachable, which is quite nice, as is the gunner. You can just have a closed top. Or someone who's tapping on what looks like an iPad. I chose to just have gunner.
Big gun.
Gunner.
So has he just got no legs?
Yep, no, just stops at the waist.
Hell yeah.
That's all you need to stick out of a tank. Look at that.
Did you see that mech that got released as part of this set?
The Dreadnought.
The one that just looks like a fridge with legs.
There is a Dreadnought in the box, which I've not built yet. I'm excited for it. It is, I will say, it is an enormous box, the Horus Heresy set.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
I think it's like 170 quid, if not more, but you get a lot of miniatures.
So, I'm starting off with Sand Golem, which looks a lot darker in the paint than it does on the label.
Yeah, that's like, what colour is it meant to be?
I'm gonna do
Oh, like a light brown.
Yeah, I'm going to do a little test. But this is the thing with like speed paints, contrast paints, you know. They have so many pigments in them. Yeah, no, that comes out quite brown.
I feel like I should have layered something underneath this, but you know what?
It does sort of come out with that yellowy, sort of sandy colour. I'm using this bit of base terrain as like a tester.
That's smart.
So I don't want to put it straight on the model because as soon as that white spray is gone, it's gone, right? So I can't do it right over it again.
So for folks who haven't tuned in before, what we are obviously chatting about speed paint and contrast paint. What makes these different to normal paints?
Yeah, for anyone who's not aware, thanks, Matt. This is a special sort of formulation of paint. Games Workshop, I believe, were the first to do it, but now Miniature Painter have, well, I keep calling them Miniature Painter for some reason. Army Painter, there it is. God, my brain. Army Painter have released their own set. A lot of people have said that they prefer the Army Painter ones, actually.
We're not sponsored by Army Painter. It's worth
Well,
pointing
no,
out.
they did send those for free, just so that you're fully aware. But yeah, like it seems like the consensus from like the very pro miniature painters, which I do not count myself in that group, they seem to be big fans of these and sort of prefer them a little bit to the contrast. Doesn't mean they don't like the contrast paints. It's just that the Army Painter ones tend to be a little bit more fluid in their application and all that kind of stuff. You get better depth and all those things. But the way these things work is, this is essentially like sort of multiple pigments all in one paint, all at different sort of consistencies. What happens is when you paint on, and you'll see as I sort of zoom in on this, when you paint on, it actually, as well as doing a sort of base coat colour, it gives you like a sort of like shadow at the same time, and then the lightest edges have a little bit of a highlight. I think the highlight is like the thing that comes through the least most of the time when I'm doing this kind of stuff. But you certainly, it's almost like doing a base coat and a wash at the same time. So it's very much like a, you know, they're called speed paints for a reason. They're a very quick way of doing loads and loads of painting all in one go. But you can see like it went on, like for example, look at the paint on the palette, which is just this sort of light here. The paint on the palette is just like this sort of brown splotch, which is, you know, it doesn't seem like it's going to do much, but then if you actually look at the bit of the model where I've applied it to, look at the difference. Look at the contrast, if you will, between the sort of the shadows, and you can see a few little highlight areas as well. I think that's coming up on the TV if you want to have a look as well, Matt. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those are.
Oh wow, that's working. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
effective.
Cool. It's a lot wetter in person, but you can see where it's all gone into the little divots. I think I've got quite a big brush to do application for this because I've got a massive dragon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a smaller brush here just to pick up some of the more like pooled areas where I don't want it to be like super dark. Because little top tip, if you're ever doing any kind of washing, sorry, I've taken the palette, and I've also
I wasn't going to bring it up.
spilled your plasmatic felt everywhere. Yeah, if there's anywhere that you don't want it to be quite as thick, and you can do this with a wash as well, which is a very standard bit of miniature paint, which we've talked about a lot on this stream. You can just grab a brush, and it will just go back into the bristles, which is very useful. See what's going on in chat. Haley Anderson says the Age of Darkness box is £180, but you can get it for like £150 from Element Games, which I'm assuming is your starter set that you're painting today, Matt.
Yes, yeah, so Age of Darkness. So I think it comes with like 40-odd Marines, then this tank and a Dreadnought, and 2 Praetors, which are the big, like, power sword and power axe wielding Space Marines.
Right.
Which I have built. I built those 2, and I built this tank so far. And that was Sunday for me. It was just building those and going, wow, that took a while.
For you, it was the biggest miniature painting job of your life.
It
For
really
wheels,
was.
it was Tuesday.
Like, I never collected 40k as a kid. When I was younger, I was big into Sigmar, or what, Fantasy Battles it was then.
Warhammer
I
Fantasy
remember
Battle.
the days. But I never really built tanks. I didn't do that many big things. I think the biggest miniature I built was a trebuchet for the Tomb Kings.
Nice. Oh, no wonder you want to do them as Eyes of Horus, is that what they're called?
I just like turquoise, to be honest. But
Yeah,
yes.
the Tomb Kings are all about that colour scheme.
Yeah.
That turquoise and gold.
Fun fact, when I applied for this job, I probably told this anecdote before because I only have about 4 anecdotes, but I'm not on the streams enough, so, you know, like, by the time I tell them again, they're fresh. But when I applied for this job, as a fun thing on my application, I mentioned that I won the Warhammer painting competition in my school.
Oh, that's
It worked
sweet.
a treat, here I am.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first step towards your long and arduous career as art manager.
Yeah.
I will say, if you do have the Army Painter Sand Golem Speed Paint, just a warning, once you wash your brush, it will look like you have a mug of piss. So just be aware that someone might give you a funny look if you do drink this paint water.
As long as I don't confuse it with my actual mug of piss, that's fine.
You wouldn't want to waste any. Right, okay, so what I want to do is I want to make an orange dragon. Use Fire Giant Orange here. So the sort of like the back and scales, and then I'm going to have like a fleshy belly.
Yeah,
so that's what I
nice.
was looking for that colour for, but I think I'm going to go something a little bit lighter. Jam says, ooh, Stormcast Dragon, currently painting my Stormdrake guard. That's right, yeah. This is the more edgy version of the box, the Krondys box. Handsome Dragon is the other option, as Mian calls him. Right, so let's get rid of Sand Golem, and then I think I had one called, yeah, Crusader Skin. I'll do like a skin tone maybe. I've also got like a where is it? Sand Golem, that's leather. We don't want leather. Yeah, I've also got Pallid Bone. I might do that and then do a wash over it for a bit more colour, actually. We've got our little ball bearings going.
Yeah, it's good sound.
It's like a tiny rattle can.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was spraying this last night, it'd been a while since I sprayed anything. And it was like, oh yeah. Like, as a kid that grew up on a mixture of Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk's, it was just like, there's always something about having a spray can in my hand where I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad dude. Look at me go.
I'm a bad, bad boy. Official Bubbles says, hey, I remember that anecdote. Do I get a prize for sticking around long enough for Matt to start
You do.
looping?
You get the prize of me saying, thank you very much for supporting us and sticking around. We hope you're still enjoying what we do.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Haley Anderson says we've hit the point where every time you talk to the NPC it says the same dialogue, which is a slightly less nice comment, but
And like in Dark Souls, if you talk to me enough, I'll eventually get sad and go off to despair somewhere in a corner.
yeah. Oh god, I need to get this. I've got some brush soap.
Brush soap.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this.
Yes. Because there's a bit at the back that doesn't seem to want to go, so I'm gonna give it a proper little wash.
Nice.
Yeah, God, look at the amount of paint that gets up.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, for anyone wondering, we got this a while ago. I remember Johnny put me on it, but this is the Master's brush cleaner and preserver.
Oh, yeah, I remember them suggesting this. There is a definite piss shade to the...
Oh, it's very piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's piss adjacent to be sure.
It's adjacent.
It's not even adjacent, it's just exact, really. So if you're looking for that kind of colour, then, you know, look
I
no
think
further.
it should be straw. That's the healthy,
straw.
for what it's worth.
Yeah. You could just call it like dehydration as a colour. All right. Yeah, and if it's that colour, it probably needs to drink some more water, as Teresa
Yep,
does.
exactly. Yeah.
Right, so let's try this orange I've just put out. I'm very scared at how similar these two shades are on the palette. But
Yeah, they come out really dark on the palette, huh?
yeah, because you only see the pooled version. Basically, like, I think the thinner that the paint sort of lies, the lighter it is. So right on the wing, here we go. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, that's a nice orange. This is exactly what speed paints were built for. Just a giant model that's all one colour.
Yeah. I am just going full turquoise over here as well. Or plasmatic bolt, specifically.
Bolt, if you're looking for the exact colour match.
Because normally I painted my Infinity models in kind of Evangelion green and purple.
Yeah.
And then...
Matt, I will say that you probably wanted to base your model white if you wanted an exact colour.
No, because I didn't want it too bright, because I think at some point I'm probably going to splash quite a lot of ink on it and kind of battle it up, yeah. At one point when we were building it, the glue we were using was very fast, probably because it was also a hot day.
Yeah.
And we were
Did
trying.
You say you were using super glue?
I can't remember. Yeah, I think so.
Let's get you some plastic cement.
But we were trying to stick the little insignias on the side.
Yes. Yeah.
And I tried to put it on because they're quite small, and as we've established, very large hands and fingers. So it was quite fiddly for me, and I got it on, and I was like, okay, I'll just shift it up. This was like a split second, like that's fine. I'll just slide it up a little bit. It'll be there. It was stuck. It was not moving anywhere.
Oh God.
So then I had to do the awkward thing of trying to pry it off. And it did. That insignia broke. So the Eye of Horus insignia did break.
No eye for you.
No, but then we did spend a second being like, well, should we just kind of battle this up? And it was like, well, then we got to do the whole thing. So.
Is this you and your wife?
No, this is me and Rail, my good friend.
Is this who you play Warhammer with?
It is. Once I built this set. Yes, he is a big 40k guy.
Nice.
So
it's always good to have one around who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, in this case, 30k.
You don't want to be that
of course,
guy.
Horus Heresy is 30k, so it's pre-40k, which is exciting to me. I think that is...
I never really cared, because I was just like, why would I want 40k with less options?
Oh, but I kind of like
Marines.
I like the political kind of lore of it. So
yeah, I think it's cool as a concept, but as a game, I'm like,
But I think that's some people like it because you can basically just collect Space Marines, right?
Yeah.
And then if you like Space Marines, Horus Heresy is the Warhammer for you because it's all Space Marines.
But also, what's wrong with you? It wilds me out how many people do collect Space Marines. I guess they're the easiest thing to collect, right? Because they're
and
all over the place.
They're nice and easy to paint because they're fairly big flat surfaces because of the armor.
But whenever I look at a miniatures game, I'm always just like, no, I don't want the one that they're advertising the most because that's the normie one and it's boring. It's the one for normies, Matt.
But I think the other thing with Space Marines is because there are so many different chapters and they each have their color scheme. There's a nice level of okay, the designs are fairly generic but actually beyond that, you can just kind of customize them and it fits. You can either make a custom chapter, or you just paint it in a color, and it's probably an existing chapter.
Yeah.
So there's less pressure to try and be canon with your paint scheme.
Have I told you my Skaven anecdote?
Probably, but tell it again, Wills.
Here we go. Let's see if anyone remembers this one. I bet the chat will. I've talked about this for a while rather. So I painted a Skaven Underworld set, which is the Warhammer Sigmar card game, miniatures game thing, which is very good actually. You should play some more of it. But the base colours were red because that's standard Skaven stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do red because I always do red because it's such an easy colour to paint with. So I was like, I'm going to do yellow because I love yellow. I know it's difficult to use, but I need to start using it if I ever want to do it as much as I plan to. So I was like, right, cool. Painted it yellow, black and yellow, looked really cool. And I was like, oh, sweet, yeah, looking nice. I was like, I wonder what, clan this would be. Because obviously there's loads of Skaven clans. So yellow and black is probably a thing. Looked it up, and it wasn't a very big one. So it's not got much established lore. They're called Clan Scurvy. And they're Skaven pirates.
That's amazing.
And how
That's
good is that? What better sign is there that you've picked the correct colour scheme?
Rat pirates.
Hell yeah.
Scurvy Skaven.
Scurvy. I mean, look at that. That's one coat of paint. It looks fantastic. I do love these speed paints. They're
really
making
neat.
me more excited to paint huge things, which is actually my favourite thing to paint, to be honest. Sorry, I cut you off that moment. You said.
No. I was just going to say, this is coming up a little more faded out than I maybe anticipated. Like, part of me wants it a little darker, but
you very much need
fine.
like a white base to get the proper colour out of it.
I based it in kind of a grey because, like I said, I was actually worried it was going to come out too bright.
Yeah, I think it's easier to darken than it is to brighten, though.
Yeah,
I will say, like, because you can grab a wash and then, just
like I say, at some point I'll probably
right
just soak it in ink and really go ham with it. So
I've never actually used inks.
I love inks.
I hear a lot of people talk about
that's because I do
know what they're for,
Like I do fairly simple layers because I do like a few base coats and then I'm kind of happy to move on. But washing with ink is just like instant look good.
I get the feeling that ink is like similar to speed paints, but without the sort of depth. Like it's just a flat color, if that makes sense. Like, which is nice.
I'm thinking I might pair this turquoise with maybe a bronze, maybe a delicious bronze on some of the tracks.
I've got some lovely bronze. I can lend you. I'll say that my usual paint of choice is Vallejo, which is what's in my big suitcase.
Yeah, your painting case is enormous.
But I do have some tasty bronzes from their line.
Folks in the chat, if you're painting something, let us know what you're painting.
Yeah, you can also show us what you're up to with the hashtag Dicepainter on Twitter, or you can just tag us. But if you do the Twitter thing, then if enough of you do it, then we'll be famous. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be difficult getting on the back of that. I'll do that another time.
Oh yeah, that looks lovely already.
Oh, that's a nice orange.
That's a beautiful
lovely orange. That's like GameCube burnt orange.
Yeah,
orange.
it's very
like
dragony as well. I love that the brush strokes have kind of dried on as well, so you can get like a bit of leathery texture to it, which looks really nice. I might try and do that on purpose on these bits here. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Big fan, big fan. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Army Painter. Blessed are thee.
I feel like I forget to talk because I'm getting into this tiny,
you can tell
tiny nook and cranny.
You can tell when the streams were running for a little while because we're just like getting to the fine detail bit, and we're like, oh, the chat.
Oh right, we're live on the internet. We're not just sat in a room, which would be perfectly pleasant. But yes,
we're actually so my friend group that sort of hang out the most with Zoe recently recommended that we do like a sort of friends hobby day, where like you don't have to do one specific hobby. We just all like parallel play with each other doing our favourite things. So
that's nice.
Probably be finishing off this dragon on Friday.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah,
we have a similar thing. So I have a group of friends that I'd say most evenings now we just kind of we'll hang out on Discord, we'll play some stuff. Yes, they are my anime friends. Some nights we watch anime, other nights we'll play Elden Ring or, but sometimes there'll be someone crocheting, there'll be another person painting.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's like a communal kind of space, and people could just hang out and chat nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
They're good folks. I love them very much.
Okay, cool. Right, I need to be a little bit more detailed now because we're getting to the edge of where I want the sort of tummy colour. I don't mind if it sort of blends over a little bit because there's going to be a sort of gradient between them, sort of. This is when my brush is too big. That's the handle that's getting in the way. There we go.
I tell you what, there is something very pleasing about the idea. Obviously, there are incredible Warhammer painting jobs out there. But I remember being at school, and you're younger kids, you don't necessarily have the experience of people that have been painting longer. So sometimes, and I think I often do it now, is you do just big flat colours. And there's something about that I was watching. Funny enough, I was watching some anime wars. It may surprise you.
No.
I was watching Gundam, and there's something about the very late 70s, early 80s
Big
look
primary
of it.
colours.
Yeah, lots of yellow, lots of red, lots of big white panels in between. And I was like, you know what? That would look really cool on some big miniatures. Obviously, people do like Gunpla, and I guess that's part of the appeal. But I think Gunpla comes pre-painted, doesn't it? It's not.
Are those the
They're the model kits.
Yeah, Gundam
of
model
Gundam.
kits, yeah. I saw it. So my friend is obsessed with Hello Kitty, and I sent her this one because you can get a Hello Kitty mech, which is
cool.
very funny. But she's also just like, no, that's not what Hello Kitty's about.
Imagine though.
Imagine. Mary R says, I just arrived, so Matt's tank is big bad evil guy of which campaign? Hopefully yours, I guess. Because this is we're painting some miniatures for
Warhammer.
For Warhammer rather than. Although obviously this dragon would be perfect for a D&D game, but
Yeah, and I suppose so I say I'm painting mine in Sons of Horus green, so I'm kind of siding with Horus, who is the son of the Emperor in Warhammer 40k lore. But again, one of the things I kind of like about 30k and Horus Heresy, and I'm not an expert, so take it with a pinch of salt, but they're kind of all bad. I mean, Space Marine's bad anyway. Space fascists,
that's all
yeah.
40k, yeah, they're all evil.
But particularly in this case, it's a civil war essentially between Space Marines. So you've got loyalists and traitors, and so the loyalists are loyal to the Emperor, and the traitors are not. But again, there's no real right or wrong because everyone kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, we lose. It's
Well, it's basically do you want to be a soldier for a fascist dictator or the devil? But yeah, this is the sort of foundation of the Chaos Marines, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the foundation of a lot of 40k lore, to be honest, because it takes place 10,000 years beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's those events very much have an impact on the galaxy by the time 40k rolls around.
Oh, so much orange. Let's squirt some more of this out.
I would say I was admiring your Tau previously, and then Chase also picked up some Tau recently.
I think Tau are really cool.
Tau are they're just fantastic looking models.
Well, they're right up your alley as well.
Yeah,
they are very anime.
Yes, and again, I think that's where, I think a lot of the Tau color scheme is traditionally quite beige and
it's kind of
sandy
deserty,
beige.
isn't it?
Yeah, but I think just painting them in big, bright colors because they've got such lovely panels.
Yes.
It's boom.
Yeah, they look great with that kind of. Well, that's why I did them as Power Rangers.
Yeah,
just very primary coloured, super. Radiant.
Yeah. You ever play Fire Warrior on the PS2?
Do you know what? My mate, when we first played 40k when I was 14 or whatever, he was a huge Tau fan. Although he ended up being a guardsman guy. I can't remember what their official name is.
Imperial Guard. They became something else, didn't they? They're now.
Well, they've all got Latin names now.
Yeah.
For some reason. But yeah, he actually had Fire Warrior on PS2, so I remember watching it played at the very least.
I played a lot of that game. And looking back, it was probably not...
I don't think it's very good,
Yeah,
no.
I don't think it is. But I liked it at the time. So essentially just a first-person shooter in the Warhammer 40k verse. I think it was one of the earlier 40k video games, and now, of course, they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, there's a 40k game.
Fire Warrior walked so that the rest of the game could run.
There we go. Oh yeah. I mean, this is coming up. It's still.
Big fan.
Oh, that's good.
Beautiful.
I'm loving that. Let's just slap a load on the bottom here.
Gang, look at that colour. Isn't that gorgeous? It's very classic dragon as well, actually. Big sort of reddish orange.
Yeah.
But still quite sort of natural browns, kind of.
Which go-to dragon?
Like what? What are we talking about here?
Dragons, big, breathe fire, have wings.
Yeah, but what kind of categorization? Like, are we talking like
Whatever you want,
wyverns,
man.
or are we talking
Yeah, you
like,
can go
know,
for wyverns if
D&D
you want.
colours or whatever?
No, just I think, yeah, like either species or like if it's a named character, named dragon. It's not a hard category to be like make it as flexible as you like.
Yeah, what is my go-to dragon? It's a good question, to be honest. I'm thinking like love ancient dragons. You know, like I quite like the in the original Warhammer they had the zombie dragons for the
Oh yeah,
for the undead, which were very cool.
yeah,
The vampire counts.
big skeleton dragon.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I also love the Chaos Dragons had 2 heads.
Yeah, I think when you start getting more heads on dragons, that's pretty good. I like multi-headed dragons. I'm into that. Like I'm not a huge D&D lore person, so like Tiamat, etc. hasn't
Well,
ever
that's got
really
loads of
been.
heads, right?
It's got 5. I think she's got because then when they put her into magic, she's got 1 for each magic color, which worked out quite conveniently.
Yeah, I think it's there's like there's red dragons which are like fiery, and then you've got like white dragons are like icy or that kind of stuff. Black dragons are poisonous or something. I will say that set for Magic the Gathering was the last time I really had fun with Magic, like because that.
Oh, is that Adventures in Forgotten Realms? Is that the last year's D&D set?
That treasure deck that I made was so much fun. Which there is an article about on the website.
There is.
If you want to read.
They've put it's either I think it's out now.
Yeah, there's a new D&D one.
Yeah, it's Commander focused, so
Oh, right.
it's Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. So, but it's also specifically around the Baldur's Gate lore.
Yeah.
Which
I know a little bit of.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
video
probably the
games.
most I know of D&D lore is through Baldur's Gate 2.
Yes.
Which is
Throne of Baal.
a very good game that I tried to go back to a few years ago and was like, wow, this is
old.
not aged well. But obviously the writing is still fantastic in it.
Yeah. The Planescape game is fantastic as well, but it's just so old, like to the point where it's just like this isn't very playable. All right. Again, we're getting into the findy topics now, where I need to be careful around his little tummy. His little tummy.
Just painting the bottom of this tank, something I will probably never look at again because it will always be face down.
I never learnt that trick of not painting things that people are never going to bloody see. Paint it anyway.
Sometimes you'd like flip a tank on its side because it's fun and it makes for a fun set piece.
Yeah. I will say there's nothing worse than like seeing your finished model and trying to take a nice photo and then you see all the white bits you missed underneath and you're like, God damn it. Chat's gone. Oh, right. Alex Simpkins says Horus Heresy summarized. Horus has daddy issues and the Emperor forgets other people have feelings. There we go. That's it.
Yes, it's Warhammer : daddy issues.
Isn't all of Warhammer daddy issues?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
Most fantasy writing is obsessed with dads.
Yeah.
I might tell you something about the authors. The relationships that they have with their parents.
Yeah, I was chatting to Mean about this the other day, actually. It's like, although I love Lord of the Rings, and I love the world of Lord of the Rings, I just have never been a big fantasy literature guy. Right?
Yeah.
It's just never been something that's really... And I think, to be honest, like, probably more on my part than the actual reality. It's like, I think despite being in this world and being surrounded by fantasy all the time and liking fantasy, I just always think of it as being like very... Like the few things I have tried, like I tried reading the Witcher books and found them very unreadable. Sorry, Witcher fans.
Which book did you read? Because
I think I started reading from the beginning.
yeah,
so
the short stories at the start are a bit like dense.
and also just like, oh yeah, like here's this really problematic portrayal of all these women. Like, great, tick that box in the fantasy stereotypes. So yeah, it's just. I will say I read. I think it's called Red Threads of Heaven by, I think their name is Neon Yang. I forget the author's name, but that was a really good fantasy book that I did read.
You're making me think of, Hearts by Grant Howitt and
Heart, yeah.
the rest of the folks at Brook and Deckard.
Mm-hmm.
The back of the book has like something about entering something called a red wet heaven, which is like a sort of like descriptor of this like disgusting like body horror place that you're living in. But whenever I see it, I just think of REM of like red wet heaven living inside. I can't stop singing it.
I think actually, speaking of that, there's a lot of the most interesting fantasy, and maybe it's just because of the job, is around RPGs, and I think it's because then the stories don't necessarily rely on tropes because the stories are in the hands of players.
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want.
I think the big appeal of fantasy has always been world building, right? That's the appeal of Middle Earth. That's the appeal of whatever you choose, of D&D.
Honestly, I think most people just want to read like a travel guide of a place that doesn't exist. Which is fair.
Oh, my thumb is now prismatic bolt.
I'm in the really tricky bits now, trying to get under the legs and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of...
Mary Ara said the scale of the dragon is looking very good even without highlights. Yeah, this is the beauty of the speed paints, because they are just getting into all those lovely little divots at the same time as actually colouring. So it's not like just shoving a wash on white, because then you basically get like a faint kind of like ghostly version of the colour you want, and then the sort of crevices are the only ones that actually get pigment. Whereas with the speed paint, it's kind of way more pigmented version. So you get all the actual colour that you need, but it also does that detail for you in the crevices, which is really cool. Very handy.
Mm. At some point I'm going to have to tackle these caterpillar tracks, which they got a lot of ins and outs.
Yeah.
But again, hopefully, that's kind of like speed paint, contrast paint.
Well, yeah,
good for that kind of thing.
I think that should hopefully help, because it will just it'll get in the divots anyway, so you won't have to.
Yeah, little nooks and crannies. So I'm burning through this paint because it's just such a huge model.
Yeah, it's so thin as well. Right, okay. Clean up some of these dark bits here. But whilst it's a little bit messy, that is the orange needs to be done. Get under this arm as well. Yeah, I was watching a video about the new Games Workshop contrast paints, which we can't show off just yet, which we may or may not have been planning to. But the guy who was sort of talking through them on the YouTube video I was watching was one thing that no one really talks about with contrast paints, considering they're angled at beginner painters, because they're so good for just sort of getting stuff painted when you're new to the hobby. Is if you make a mistake, they're very unforgiving, because as soon as you've covered up that white, you can't do the same thing that you did before, right? Because it's you need that plain white undercoat to actually get the right finish. So because these paints are so translucent, if you try and go back over something that you've done wrong, it's just going to have the same colour again, So
yeah, I will say I didn't, because like I say, I've not used them before. At least these speed paint ones. They're much thinner and much more translucent than I expected.
Yeah.
I expected it to cover a little more. But I think it's coming out all right. I don't mind this kind of slightly faded turquoise, and I think with a few more layers on top of it, it's gonna rough up nice.
Rough up real nice.
For those folks watching, take this opportunity to tease something that will hopefully be out this weekend. We've been working on a while, which I'm very excited to see in its finished form.
Folks, for those of you who were kind enough to tune into our live stream, we will give you an exclusive bit of news on the Dicebreaker videos coming this weekend, as well as a very, very interesting video from Liv on this absurd scandal that happened with McDonald's monopoly and the mafia, which you will find out more about on the video. If you liked Liv's Satanic Panic video, then you'll definitely love this one.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen that video, go and watch it.
Yeah, please
It's very,
do.
very good.
It
It's
was
very,
very
very good.
underviewed considering how fantastic it is. So please do go give it some love. But the video that we've all been working on, and me and Maddie just filmed the last of, and the most exciting bits of, is we got a PSA graded Pokemon card, a shiny Charizard.
A mint condition
It only cost us
Charizard.
like 20 quid, so it can't be that good, that rare. But, you know, a mint condition card nonetheless. And we put it in a big plastic case that we bought on eBay that says it will protect your cards. And we asked the question, how protected are these cards? So we threw the box out a window, put it in some water, put it on a barbecue, shot a bow and arrow, an air rifle, and a shotgun at it. And
Hit it with an axe.
Hit it with an axe. You will see the results on the video come this weekend. It is very, very funny.
It's incredible.
If you enjoyed our D&D food video, this has a very similar vibe. So look forward to that one. Okay, right. Tom Mortishire Smith says, can you get Wingspan out of frame? Not a massive fan of the game and it hurts my eyes. That's not
Wow.
very nice to Wingspan. We like Wingspan.
I'd say the art's quite nice, even if you don't
Yeah.
care for the gameplay. But you know, each their own.
Goodness, Tom. Right. Okay. So now I've done the orange, as you can see.
Oh yeah,
It
that
looks,
is
it's
looking
gorgeous. Yeah, it's
lovely,
great.
really.
It's
lovely.
exactly what what it says on the tin. It's exactly what you want. Getting all the detail, and I've literally only used one coat of paint. That's what's wild. Well, maybe not one coat. I've gone over myself a little bit, but one actual bottle of paint
Yeah.
has gone into this. Just going to grab these little corners and edges of the wing. I keep doing this where I'm like, right, now that's done. Oh, wait, hold on. Right, now that's done. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, so now that that's done, now that I've done all the orange, I'm going to try and do the underbelly. And I'm hoping that this pallid bone is a little bit more forgiving than the sand golem, which was incredibly dark pigment. Okay. Tom says, my family likes it, but I don't. I love Birds of Prey, but I just don't get the game. Well, might be worth revisiting with someone who knows it really well to teach you, because it is really, really good. Very much recommend it. Oh. Unless you mean don't get it as in, like, this doesn't vibe with me, kind of.
Yeah.
Don't get it, which is fair.
Trying to think of other bird-themed games, but I know that Wingspan is the big one.
Yeah, it's a premium, isn't it?
I played a really cute little card game at one point that was about birds. I can't remember the name of it now. I think it's by Ben Riddick, perhaps. Oh gosh. Oh, Peepmats, I think. Piepmatz. So if you like birds and you're looking for a different game, that might be up your street. Or you might hate that one as well. Hey.
You might find out you just hate bird games. And there's nothing we can do for you there. So, right, okay. Right. Let's try pallid bone. Do you know what? Just to not confuse myself, I'm going to soak up this. Actually, no, I might use it for the underside terrain thing. It's a little shake already. We'll give it a bit more. Put that up there so it's nice and separated, so I can tell the difference.
We've got like a little ridge in that wet palette.
Yeah.
It's,
Tom Watcheye Smith says, isn't there a bird expansion of Exploding Kittens, or am I imagining it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I will say I'm not a big Exploding
Yeah,
Kittens
Tom,
fan.
we don't like Exploding Kittens. So.
But I do love cats, so maybe
Yeah.
that's my equivalent. Love cats, don't love Exploding Kittens.
Oh, yeah, this is better. Okay, here we go. Let's get some of this on that.
These gaps between the caterpillar tracks and the main body are very small. Quite awkward to paint.
Difficult to find a bit of the model that isn't coated in paint that I can hold onto. It's big enough that you can't just hold the base sometimes.
You know what I watched last night, Wills?
What's that?
The Rock.
The Rock?
I've never seen The Rock before, and on a whim, I was just sat there and was like, I'm going to watch The Rock.
By which you mean...
The Michael Bay film from 1996.
I'm going to level with you, mate. I've not seen it either.
It's one of those films that I see people be like, oh, it's a classic action film. Like, you know, Nicolas Cage is in there.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, Sean Connery's in there.
Honestly,
Ed Harris is in there.
I thought you were talking about seeing the people's eyebrow being brought out at WWF.
Seeing Dwayne Johnson shill his coffee during Summer Games Fest.
Samoa, whatever.
Yeah, his energy drink. But no, it was an experience, I'll tell you that. Like, it really shows, like, oh wow, action movies have come a long way in the last almost 30 years. There are multiple parts of that film that are just like, oh, that's not good. That wouldn't have been good at the time, and it's definitely not good now. That said, there are also parts of it that are like, okay, I can see why people enjoy this as a big, like, silly action movie.
Yes.
At one point, they have a car chase in San Francisco, just for reasons, essentially.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're gonna have a car chase in a setup so contrived that. At one point, I almost rewound to be like, did I miss something as to why everything's exploding now?
I'm not aware of that's going on here, lads.
But no, like, it is just Sean Connery escaping in an armoured, like, big armoured Hummer Jeep thing. Nicolas Cage chasing in, like, a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a sports car of some kind.
Is Nick Cage good or bad in this film?
Oh, he's good. Nick Cage is the saviour of this film.
Excellent.
I
meant, is he a good guy or a bad guy?
Oh, he's a good guy. He's a chemical expert. He has to get into Alcatraz with the only man who ever escaped from Alcatraz, which is Sean Connery, in order to... Sean Connery in this film is an escape artist of some kind, but also like an SAS agent and is good with weapons and stuff. He's just kind of a... Oh, yeah. He's an action guy, yeah. They need to break into Alcatraz. That's obviously where this whole thing started. In order to stop Ed Harris's general, who, I will say, for a film that is as big and silly as this, they do an interesting thing with the villain in that he's kind of sympathetic, in that he's a former military serviceman, and he's essentially just looking for reparations for soldiers killed in combat that the government have effectively ignored and haven't, supported their families, and that's his whole thing. But to do that,
here we go.
He decides to hold dozens of hostage on Alcatraz, steal chemical weapons from a facility, and then threaten to unleash them on San Francisco.
Classic.
At which point, there's an immediate kind of flaw in the logic of like,
what about the people that you're supposedly helping that live in San Francisco?
But they do some interesting stuff with it. So yeah, it's a real mixed bag. It has not aged well in parts, but it was a wild ride, let's say. But also, it's very much filmed to Michael Bay in that things just explode because they could, not because they necessarily would
or should,
but
could. At
one point, they crash into like a tram cart which is powered by electricity, so therefore I don't think has any kind of fuel on board. The tram cart just explodes and jumps about 15 feet in the air because of the explosion. And then everybody just kind of carries on. Like, there's no mention of casualties or injuries or...
Oh, no.
Even though there definitely would be from this pointless chase.
I've got time to think about humans in these kind of situations.
But yeah, there's some very good Nicolas Cage moments in it, including one where he's locked in a cell and he shouts the word butthole like louder than any human, but in the middle of a sentence, and the rest of the sentence is just normal volume. So he's like, in the name of Zeus's butthole, how are we going to get out of here? And it's like, okay, right, yeah, Nicolas Cage is here. Nicolas Cage has entered the room.
Nicolas Cage has entered the chat.
Yeah. There we go. There's my mini review of The Rock, which is probably didn't expect that when you tuned in to watch us paint miniatures, did you? But
Oh, I don't think anyone expects anything when they come into Podgers Paint Miniatures. The ways in which our conversations just completely fall off the rails. It's even worse than the podcast.
which you can watch live every Friday from 2 p.m.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, come join us.
Look at this.
Oh, that is looking
It's
lovely,
just-
Wells. That's looking really
You
lovely.
know, I feel like I've not even done anything. It's like almost finished. It's great. Love it. Big fan. Thank you, Army Painter. I've remembered your name. That's how much I'm liking it. Right. Tom says he's actually been to Alcatraz. Cool place. I've been to Alcatraz too, but
I have not.
in Tony Hawk's
Oh, right, yeah.
American Skateland, is that what it's called?
American Wasteland, please.
No, I think I played American Skateland, which is like the DS.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm a
That
man
was
of
like
culture, you
the
see.
isometric pro skaters they used to make on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh god, yeah.
It's like, this game was not designed to be like this.
There's so many of those weird like ports that are just seemingly built to just confuse grandmas. That are actually like really inexplicably good. Like we were talking about Sims the Herbs because those been
Oh,
playing
the Herbs is so good.
it. Yeah, on Game
It's
Boy
really,
Advance and
yeah, it's
DS
really,
was
really good.
fantastic.
I feel like it's something that's been lost in the age of big, like, blockbuster video games particularly, is
Yeah.
just the surprising licensed game. It's
Yeah.
like, this is, you know, it's not going to blow anybody's mind, but actually it's just a good, solid, fun time. I think in some ways board games are just getting there with licensed games. Where It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like we've got past the utter trash like Twin Peaks the board game, which is a thing. And now we're, you know, you now see things like Star Wars Rebellion and,
Rebellion's fantastic.
yeah, and
Rebellion's so good. I kind of hate Star Wars, but it's actually one of my favorite games.
yeah. And like Resident Evil 2, the board game, actually really, I think maybe that is like the equivalent, the closest I can get to like a licensed video game that would have released on the PS2 in 2007. In the, and I don't mean that in a bad way by any means, but Resident Evil 2, the board game, is absolutely what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
It is a dungeon crawler, there are zombies, you play Leon or Claire, or I think some of the other characters that pop up in that game, but let's be real, you're playing Leon or Claire, and then relegating the rest of your friends.
Yeah.
And then you move around rooms, you pick up stuff, you shoot zombies, job done. And I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did, mate.
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I don't think we're getting very good camera angles on this one because I'm trying to get the underside of the tail, which is proving to be quite difficult. Ugh. It's always tricky to know how to film like painting bits because it's like I don't know what weird angle I'm going to have to pull out to try
Yeah,
and
you're just
get to
rotating
some of the
something
things
in
that
your
I'm
hand.
trying to paint.
I had forgotten that this actually opens up, so there's the inside of the tank
Oh,
as
Jesus
well.
Christ.
Oh.
Yeah, give us a sit rep. On, where
So
we're at.
I've done the sides a bit, getting that turquoise in there, done the top, I've done the bottom, but it's not very interesting. And yeah, so I'm basically just doing your big block
Pop it there and then.
big block colours. Oh, I'll hold it up a little bit.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
But I think the turquoise is working for me. Like
Yeah,
I started
it's
out,
a dark turquoise, but it's turquoise nonetheless.
yeah, and I think that's kind of what I'm after. Like
Okay.
I went for a stage of being like, not sure, it's maybe a little lighter than I would have liked. But actually, the more I kind of cover the whole miniature,
Yeah.
the more I'm kind of digging the turquoise. So
It's got that kind of like 90s Kagul jacket kind of colour.
yeah, the vibe I aspire to, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be sold in a millets for $15.99.
This is the other thing about painting Warhammer miniatures. There's always so many spikes to
Spikes and skulls.
rip your skin on. I don't know if that would show up. I've got
Oh
scrap.
gosh. Right, I'm gonna go digging in this enormous set of paints that we have.
Yeah, let me know if there's something there that you want
Ooh,
but
so
can't find
good.
because I'll have some in my...
Well, do we have like are there metallics in these speed paints? I don't know if.
You don't get metallic speed paints, but
That's
we do
what I
have
was
metallics. Probably want to look
Yellow.
towards here. I think.
Slaughter red.
These ones with the white tops.
Yeah. Let me have a quick gander through these colours. see
Yeah,
what's
if
in
there's
there.
not a metallic you want though, I've got loads. So
This one's just called Speed Paint Medium.
Medium is for thinning.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like paint thinner, but you know, it basically it's like it makes it.
Oh yeah, makes your very own speed paint colours.
It makes it thinner without it being
Right.
like
Oh.
without it losing pigment.
I've
Basically,
never come across that before.
Yeah.
Purple alchemy. Holy white. Grim black. These are Crusader skin. Yellow. Necrotic flesh. Monster brown. Leather brown. Necromancer. Uniform grey. You said the metallics had the white tops.
White tops are just
Oh,
standard
they're just
paint.
standard paint,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah. Alien purple.
Did you check the far left? Oh, there you go. Maybe they have the black tops actually. Yeah, look, shining silver.
Aha.
Plate mail metal.
Is that a bronze next to plate mail?
Weapon bronze.
Oh, that'll do. Oh, yeah. Big, like, orangey bronze.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. And then, to be fair, I can just wash the tracks at some point. It'll be all good. Oh, this is very drippy.
That's what you want. I will say that, like, if you have a brush you care about, do not use metallics on it. Because it clumps up and they will fan out quick sharp.
Yeah. That's right, I got some kind of trash brushes.
Yeah. Will's top tips. Getting on this a little bit here.
I feel like I'm almost... This feels like when you get a day off school and you feel like, oh, I'm naughty because I'm not in school.
What?
Because I'm painting so quickly, because normally I paint quite small miniatures.
Yeah.
So because I'm just able to slap this on large
Oh, it feels
areas.
like you're cheating as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, my convoluted metaphor didn't track with you. I can't believe that.
No, funnily enough not. I was assuming that what you meant was like I should be working right now, but I'm doing
Oh, no,
painting.
no.
And I was like, this is work.
This
man.
is work, yeah.
For us, this is work.
Yeah.
And this morning, shooting a shotgun was work.
At a Pokemon card.
Pokemon
which is
card.
just a ridiculous statement, whatever way you spin it.
Okie dokie. All right, we're getting there.
Oh yeah, I think this is gonna that little shimmer.
Nice.
Little shimmer.
Nice. Going for metal treads.
I mean, bronze would be very inefficient on caterpillar treads because I'm almost certain it would just melt.
Well, it'll be soft, right? So it'll be flexible.
Yeah, that's not what you want for treads though. They'd fall off.
I don't know. I'm not a big tread expert, I'll be honest. I'm not one of them tread heads.
Tread heads.
You know how like stupid sub-communities of people who think they know things that are true when others don't, when in actual fact they're just idiots. Like for example, flat earthers.
Yes.
They usually have like a sort of nickname for like normal people.
Oh yeah.
Theirs is globe heads.
Globe heads. Globe heads is a great name.
There's a community of people on Reddit who only eat raw meat as well, which like the amount of posts where they're like, I think I have a tapeworm.
It's like, no, you think?
I'm trying to remember what theirs is. It's like something about burning food or something.
I know there's like a raw denim community.
Raw denim?
Yeah, so there's this idea that you shouldn't wash denim.
Right.
Because it's designed originally to just basically...
You can, they tested it and you can not wash them for up to a year as long as you don't get any stains on them.
Yeah. But I think there are people that just don't wash them at all and just stuff, like you can, I think the idea is you wipe them clean maybe if they get dirty.
Yeah.
But some people just let it cake up and...
Oh, God.
Then the idea is that the denim benefits from having this stuff on it.
Right. Okay, let's catch up on some chat. Herman Prime says, my brain just went on a weird tangent and ended up on Mass Effect, the TCRPG, which I don't think is real, but I would definitely play. I feel like that's surely in the works somewhere, right?
There is a Dragon Age tabletop RPG, but there's not an official Mass Effect one. There are plenty, as you'd expect, fan-made or like indie spiritual successors. But
I would stake quite a lot of my credentials on idea that they are at the very least considering making one right now. You know, like I wouldn't say it would take too long for that to be around.
Have they said that there's like a new Mass Effect game? Because obviously Andromeda didn't do great, and then I think they said, hey, we're gonna take a break from this for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would make sense. I mean, at this point, any new video game, assume there's going to be some kind of tabletop tie-in, because there almost always is nowadays.
Right. Look at this head now. What else we got in here? IO Netrunner says, I recently bought the TTRPG books for Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
It seems to overcomplicate things to make it closer to the game mechanics. Something a branded coat of paint over an existing system is fine. Yeah, I tend to find that like I never really like video game adaptations on tabletop because like they're so desperate to be exactly like the thing they're replicating that they're kind of forgetting that like, you know, the more arbitrarily you are like the thing that you're arranging for a different medium, the more you're just like, why am I not just playing the original?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you find something like interesting from this thing that I can sort of like focus on as part of this?
Yeah, and humans aren't computers, I think is the problem. It's like when you try and make code into a rule book, you're then asking the human players to run that, which then becomes not very fun. So yeah, I think like to be honest, a lot of the best video game RPGs are those like inspired by games that you see on itch, because they are made by people who they're not beholden to a license holder.
Yeah.
So they don't have to answer to some higher power in, oh, we definitely need this to do X, Y, and Z from this video game.
Yeah.
They are people that just absolutely love those games and know them inside out.
And they know the thing that makes it special as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
they're
only bothered about that because that's the thing that actually inspired them to make it in the first place, which is
it's not a world expanding, you know, IP move. It is I really love this thing and I want to like experience it in a different way and share that with other people.
It's like the Alien RPG from Free League. Like I love a couple of the mechanics in that. Like I love the stress dice and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But then like the actual here's a stat block for a facehugger. I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like, you know, I'm sure I can work that out myself, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what they do with that Blade Runner RPG that they kickstarted recently. But you know, there are successful. I think video games particularly fall into the trap of, because they have gameplay.
Yeah.
Trying to bring that gameplay across them, but almost becomes the aim for some like publishers and firms.
Rather than just making something.
Yeah, whereas with a film or you know, there's no real gameplay to speak of.
Yeah.
So it's just like, here's a cool world that people like. Just like, okay, yeah. Like that, the Avatar Legends RPG, which we've played on the channel, we spoke about quite a lot. We played a full campaign of that, me and Chase, me and a friend. And that was a really good, you know, it's powered by the Apocalypse, so it's fairly light system, but it did a good enough job of just being like, hey, here's like pretty light touch ways of getting the avatarness in this.
Yeah, it's just like, it feels like Avatar's a good example where it was made by people who really care about the IP, and we're trying to mechanically represent the ideas that are sort of present in that world in the shows, but also just like the fact that it was, you know, powered by the Apocalypse, which meant, you know, there was a level of like, well, this kind of already exists, like why should I play this? But then it was built upon with like, no, this is a thing that we wouldn't put in another RPG. This is for Avatar, you know. Like, this is the reason we put this in here is because it makes sense in the context of Avatar. Because it's almost a meme now, probably on the podcast, of me groaning when everything's like we've made this like IP, but it's in 5e, and it's like, why? Like 5e is a very specific type of game. Like, what is it about your property that means 5e is the natural fit?
Because popularity.
No, we haven't thought about that in the slightest.
We thought about, there's a lot of people that play 5e. We sure would like them to give us money for this book.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like we've seen other games, like not necessarily licensed games, that also come to 5e, and it's a real shame but reality that if your game isn't 5e or 5e adjacent or somehow linked to D&D, you're probably going to sell a fraction of copies versus what you would sell if it was just a 5e supplement. And that it's not a great place to be in for the hobby. And that's not like that's absolutely not disparaging people that want to play 5e. Like if you love 5e, like good on you, play 5e. I just think it's like a shame sometimes that really interesting mechanical designs might just not exist because trying to sell those to an audience that is already familiar with 5e and just wants more 5e stuff like is very difficult.
Well, Dark Souls was a perfect example, wasn't it? Where it's like it came out and it was just sort of like this is just kind of 5e with some sprinkles of salt on top. You know, like it's not really doing anything that makes me think Dark Souls.
That one's especially a shame because there's a Japanese Dark Souls RPG that I believe is built on an original system.
Yeah,
and I would be fascinated to know what it plays like, but it's never been translated. It's never been localized, so it only exists in Japanese, and I cannot read Japanese.
Yet.
Yet. So, yeah, but I just kind of want to know, like, how do you capture that Dark Souls? Because Dark Souls is such a specific experience as well. Yeah. Like, its relationship to character death, player death, is very different to something like D&D.
Yeah, just a bit of a mess, really, which is a shame.
Well, yeah, that's a whole.
What are you gonna do?
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, it is. All right. Okay. I mean, look at that. That is a flipping dragon if ever I did see one.
That's a lovely looking dragon.
I mean, look, we've been painting for just over an hour. And like, you know, there's a few bits I need to clean up, but like, you could shove that on the table. You know, like it's wild to me like how accessible this makes tabletop like miniature stuff, where it's just like, you know, you really don't care about painting. Thanks very much for watching this stream. But like, you know, that's fair enough. If you just want to play, just grab, especially with like things like Space Marines where you can just do one.
That's what I was going to say. Like when you've got big armies, like when you don't want to take the time to customize each and every model, which you know some people are into. That's cool, but some people just don't have the time and they just want a splash of color before they play.
Yeah,
I think it, like you say, it's perfect for those kinds of situations.
Right, I'm gonna grab. Let's see, skeleton bone. I'm gonna start detailing some of this underbelly. I'll actually use this wet palette for something that's not just liquid.
I've not done this in the best order, but it's fine. I was just like, I really want to throw some bronze on these tracks, so it's going to make painting the little under wheels quite difficult. But
what's under me?
Oh. It's zingers like that the people come for.
That's why we're the pros here. Okay. Daniel Trigg says, I haven't caught a stream in a while, but it's a pleasure to be back with the wonderful chill vibes of Dicepainter. Hello, good to have you back.
Yeah, welcome back.
We are, if you haven't seen already. Oh, I need to get rid of that alarm. I think I said it to
What's that alarm for?
It was to remind me to buy something from Easy Hours.
Oh.
Like 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't turned it off. But yeah, no, if you haven't been with us for very long, then just to fill you in, we are currently painting 2 massive miniatures, which is not something we do very often on these streams. I'm painting a big dragon from Age of Sigmar, and Matt's painting a Horus Heresy huge tank. What a Spartan?
A Land Raider Spartan.
Yeah. In the...
It's big tank.
Yeah, in the sort of Zeechy Eyes of Horus colours. Is that what it's called? Eyes of Horus?
Sons of Horus.
Sons of Horus.
But yeah, it's Horus affiliated.
Horus adjacent.
Yeah.
This actually, to be fair, this isn't Krondys, but it is from that set. This is the like secondary model that you can make with this set, which is like something that's scarred. I can't remember his full name. Feel free to Google that and tell me. But I'm not intentionally painting him like a Charizard, but thank you for pointing that out.
You probably just got Charizard on the mind.
I do have Charizard on the mind, to be fair. Again, if you missed it, we sort of did a little teaser here about what video we've got coming out this weekend in which we subject a shiny Charizard rare mint condition Pokemon card to all sorts of horrendous wanton destruction for the sake of science. So have a look out for that.
Yeah, it's, I would say, maybe our most ambitious video. Well, the D&D food video is pretty ambitious. Like, we've been, you and the
D&D
video
food
team have been
video,
doing
I
some
think,
incredible stuff. lately.
Was accidentally ambitious. This one's intentionally ambitious. I fire a shotgun in this video, like an actual shotgun, to give you a taste of what the hell's going on.
I had to fill out multiple forms.
We had to have a call with health and safety.
It's like, you're doing what? With a Pokemon card? Okay.
What do you mean? It's lovely painting something like a dragon where it's like the sort of edges between where two colours are can be quite loose and it's just sort of like, what's the word? It's just kind of like spotty.
Yeah. It's like I painted a cave troll.
A cave troll.
That exact cave troll.
That exact cave troll, yeah.
Yes, the cave troll of Moria. And it was the same. I actually went into it, I was like, oh no, like I'm quite worried about the belly of this because I want to blend it well with the kind of outer skin.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, at some point, that's how, like,
That's how skin works,
yeah.
When you've got coloured markings.
It's not like one consistent colour all the time.
It's getting like the little detail bits here which have gone a bit orange. My big splotches of paint. I can come back to these and sort of wash it to give it a bit more consistency with the other bits. Again, if you are just joining us, I'm using the speed paints that we showed off on our terrain painting stream a couple of weeks ago. Well, we were painting Frostgrave terrain, but using it on a dragon because I thought it's kind of the perfect model for it because it's so huge and so many big flat colours.
A lot of scales, just
Yeah, a lot of
little
scales.
bits of detail and
It's coming across very nicely. I do say so myself. Just gonna, on the edges of these wings, I'm gonna get a bit lighter with this.
nice. So those underwings, is that just speed paint on there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've
It's a
literally,
really effective.
outside of this paint which I'm now applying, I've done 2 colours.
Blimey.
And that's this whole dragon. It's 2 paints that I've used. And it genuinely looks fantastic. Like it is wild, and it took me about an hour.
Sorry, I'll use that.
We have a Liv on the chat as well, who,
Hello, Liv.
as I said earlier, is working on a very exciting video about McDonald's monopoly and the mafia and the fraud therein, which is going to be very, very interesting. I very much recommend you watch it. And we said earlier as well, this is going to have a similar sort of vibe to the other tabletop true crime thing that Liv put together, which is on the Satanic Panic. And if you haven't watched that on the channel yet, it is a fantastic video. I very
It
much
really is.
recommend
It's fantastic.
It needs more love.
Yeah, and hey, if you enjoy us doing stuff like that, let us know because we ultimately do it for you, the audience.
Yeah,
So,
please share it around as well,
yeah.
because we're kind of fighting against the YouTube algorithm here. So any help we can get, we appreciate. Okay.
I believe as well, the Satanic Panic is mentioned in Stranger Things. So if you're watching Stranger Things at the moment,
Yeah, it was ironically topical. We didn't really realise at the time. Liv, did you just say you hope everyone's having a good day? A good day? Is that the word you use here on Dicebreaker?
please consult the style guide for for praising the day.
Daniel Trick says, is Liv planning on doing more Baldur's Gate 3? It's one of my favourite Dicebreaker videos. Oh, wow. Potentially, yeah. We're actually we're looking for
Was
some
that
stuff
members
to-
vid?
I can't remember. It might have been a stream.
Oh.
But yeah, we're looking for some members vid stuff. So if you are a member, or if you're planning to become a member, it might be something that we could shove on there. Because it is sort of good space for us to do stuff that's sort of like not as tabletop as our main channel content. You know?
And sometimes not tabletop at all. It's
Yeah.
just, hey,
Hey, we're playing a video.
here's
game.
us watching cats.
Oh God, dear, why? By which I meant, oh dear God, why? But you get the idea.
Yeah, man. We did Cats, we did Battleship.
Battleship I missed out on,
Yeah.
which I'm sure I didn't really miss much.
Well, in terms of the film, no. In terms of our discussion of the film,
Yes.
it certainly goes places.
I'm having a cracking time painting this dragon. I'm having a whale of a time.
I'm enjoying painting these treads, but then I have to do like each little block of the edge.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
It is lovely to be able to just dab paint on a huge flat wing. It's great. Liv says, I'd love to. There are so many updates to catch up with. It was a main channel stream. Yeah, no, it was on the main channel.
Oh.
It was left alone to plan, and of course I wanted a cheeky bit of BG for everyone. Still want Baldur's Gate 3 for the character creator. Yeah, honestly, like, it must be sick for, like, D&D stuff, because you can literally just take a screenshot.
Yeah, it's got a good character creator. I need to go back to Baldur's Gate 3, in fact.
Well, like, I'm kind of just waiting for them to finish it now, because, like...
Yeah, it's in, I think...
I've done the
first act.
starter level, which is essentially the Fort Joy, adjacent sort of, like, starting place to just, like, mess around with the mechanics.
I mean, even that is, like, many hours of...
Yes.
Because those games are big. Whether it's Divinity, Baldur's Gate.
I still prefer Divinity. I think Divinity has better combat, but the vibes are impeccable, of course.
I think it is a worthy successor to Baldur's Gate original and to...
Yeah, I can't think of a better studio to pull it off. Like, I think they've done a great job already so far. Right, I'm going to try and get these spines on the wings, which again might be a little bit hard to see on the camera. There's so much model to block the line of sight.
Mm.
Here we go, spine.
Sometimes feel like we should have the piece of music that used to play, I think, in Art Attack or Smart. Like the do 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 do.
That's a very
like you're on hold in an art
I can't
gallery.
remember what that's called. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the theme song, which is what I thought.
I don't remember.
I mean, that should be the intro to our streams, really. If we can get the rights to that.
Is that Smart or is that Art Attack?
I'm pretty sure that's Art Attack, because I never watched Smart.
Yeah. For those, I think I guess outside of the UK,
props.
Smart and Art Attack were two kind of competing shows on children's television in the 90s and early noughties. They were both around painting and crafty. One of the presenters of Art Attack, Neil Buchanan, is also like a heavy metal band. Yeah, and they used to do they used to go on like school fields and lay out blankets and hockey sticks and things to make a big art. I can't remember what they called it. They didn't call it big art, but it was a big art.
Yeah, I forgot it was in a metal band. That's
Yep.
so funny. I can imagine him being in that, that all Flanders metal band.
Oh yeah, what are they called?
The Diddley somethings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just highlighted a couple of spines now. Again, I don't know how well that'll show up on camera, but I'm also realising that this camera is not plugged in, so I might fix that quickly. But that has given us a nice bit of texture in there. I'm now going to use the same colour to paint the bone, and then I'm going to give it a wash with a bit of Agrax Earthshade.
Ah, classic.
Everyone's favourite wash.
Oh, I realised, of course, I detached the guns and gunner, and they've just kind of sat unpainted.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Vibing.
I might.
By the way, Liv, if you're watching, could you send Maddie in to plug the camera in, please? That'd be really helpful.
You know what? I might give this gunner a little paint up before the end of the stream, because I'm kind of interested to see how those paints come up on like a little figurine.
Yeah, I think the speed paints can look like, unless you're doing a very, very simple colour palette, they might be a little bit tricky on the smaller models because they're so...
What do you mean?
This camera's not plugged in.
Okay.
Hi, Liv.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, everyone's Liv.
Oh, don't make me.
Liv is busy. Oh, there should be some down there, I think.
Okay.
Liv is busy editing the fantastic Monopoly video that we just spoke about.
Yes, it's pretty good. Yeah, no, it should be interesting. I feel like if I'm learning, then we're all probably.
They're all learning, yeah.
Everyone's learning.
If you're learning, we're all learning.
Okay, that's too far away. Oh god.
You might have to swap with the close one, I guess. Liv, look at this.
Look at that
This is
guy.
all one paint.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's just speed paint.
That's pretty wild.
I voted for this entire thing. I'm only on my third paint colour.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. I do agree. It looks a little bit like a Charizard, but I love that.
That's fair. Though. I think Charizard's just a classic dragon colour.
He
though,
really
right?
is.
Yeah.
Like,
The OG.
Yeah, he's a classic boy.
you know, this is basically what Smaug looks like or whatever, right?
Yeah, this is
Sure.
him.
This is Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to number.
You can give it the voice of Benedict Cumberbatch if you want. Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really know what he sounds like. I know he's just sort of a bit posh.
I mean, yeah. That's
Penguins.
Pengwang. Yeah.
Penguins. So that is plugged in. All right.
I don't think he's a very good actor, to be honest.
If anyone ever questions the fact that I'm a good video producer, it did take me just like half an hour to plug in that camera. All right, thanks.
I
Thank
don't
you,
know about half
Liv.
an hour, but thank you very much, Liv.
Yeah, there's the bit in Sherlock where he's in his mind palace is still just incredibly...
Oh, what, the Churchill?
Where he sees like the word dog go by and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, dog, oh.
Why has the minicam dropped? Hold on, let me just fix that quickly.
All right, I will entertain the folks by... Here are my five favourite episodes of Sherlock ranked. I'm kidding, I can't remember any.
Number 0, every episode, they're all bad. I don't know. It was weird. I think it's...
Folks, this is why I don't work in video production. I just get to sit
Wait,
here
it's literally...
and paint this model and not worry about
Oh, no, wait, hold on.
whatever's happening around me.
There we go. Let me try doing
It's a wonderful
this.
place to be in on a Thursday afternoon with you, our
Try doing
audience.
this little wiggly. There we go.
Aha!
I think it was OBS, it wasn't the camera. OBS was having a wobble, don't worry. It's all good. Thank you,
Classic
Liv.
OBS.
It wasn't Liv's fault.
Hi, Liv.
Liv did nothing wrong.
OBS is to blame.
Ugh.
Once again, OBS is...
Just cover the camera up, pretend it's intentional, says Troost. Oh, God. Now I've stood up, I've realised I need a wee. Classic.
I mean, you've only got half an hour to hold.
Yeah, that's true.
This is how we add tension to this. This is the excitement of this stream.
Yeah, we couldn't have it all relaxing.
We started it with piss and we may end it with piss.
All things lead to piss. That's what the old masters used to say.
Here in the UK, that's probably true.
More like, oh, BS, says AHB. Oh, right.
Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, now that monitor's gone.
What is happening?
What's going on?
What's going on there?
All right, Chris Pratt.
If he doesn't do a really crap Italian accent in that film, I'm going to be so upset. Just check that.
Wills has gone to check the camera. I don't know. I mean, maybe we're not even streaming anymore. Maybe everything has died.
Yeah, the stream's fine. It's just we can't see our monitor anymore.
Do we just have to? Do we need to wiggle the mouse?
I mean, maybe.
Normally we have the technical difficulties at the start of the stream. This is an exciting mid-stream.
Does that work?
Nope.
No. Right. Okay. I think the universe is telling me to go for a wee. So I'll be back in a second.
You're going to leave me here to talk by myself.
Matt, you're a big boy now. You can do it.
I know, but I'm not very
I'm muting
interesting,
my
big
mic.
boy. You've turned your mic off, right, before you go to the toilet? He didn't hear me. Guess we'll find out together. You will, anyway. I'll see it in the chat. Hello, chat. Let me know if you're out there. Let me know if you've, what you're up to, what you've got planned this weekend, what's going on in your life. It's nice to hear from you. I'm going to continue to paint this little Space Marine. Hopefully this camera is still working so you can still see. I'm just painting this little gunner who sits in the top. Doesn't have any legs because you don't need them for this model. You can just plonk on top. You know what? I might do this gun in a sweet bronze as well. That's probably not Space Marine-y, but I don't care. All right. Anime. Fabrice Durantis says, have I watched Guitar Lives Alone? I've not. We're currently watching Comey Can't Communicate, which I very highly recommend. It's very good. It's very, very sweet. It's very funny. It's about someone with anxiety, to which I can relate. You can do it, man. Oh, thanks, Liv. I was like, oh, that's a lovely message, and I realised it's from Liv, which of course, because Liv is lovely. Denotrix says, I'm working on campaign planning for my 5e campaign and a one-shot for Soulbound to try and get people hooked on the setting. That's a great way to get people hooked into it. Soulbound is a really, really good RPG. Folks who've watched us for a while might have seen us play it, gosh, a while ago now. But it is the Age of Sigmar tabletop RPG. It's got a really good system. And yeah, it does a good job of bringing the Warhammer setting to life as a kind of D&D-esque RPG setting. It's a good game. I think whether you know Warhammer inside out or not, it's just a good TRPG. What else we got? I'll try not to get paint on Will's phone. All is well. I mean, the people call for anime. I can talk about anime, and if the number of concurrent viewers dips down, I'll blame it on the fact that Will's went for a piss. But yeah, no, I was watching Gundam this morning, which is something, I'm into mechs, but I've never really watched Gundam, which is like the mech anime, right? Which is, yeah, it's interesting. It definitely, like I say, it has a really good color palette, which is kind of inspiring me. And now I'm just like, I want to paint all my miniatures in this very distinctive, like 70s, 80s primary colors. Which Gundam? I've been watching the films, actually, because the series is very long. So I was watching this morning Mobile Suit Gundam 2, Sons of Sorrow. And that film has a lot of sadness in it. It does, at points, feel like, so for those who don't know, the Mobile Suit Gundam films are kind of like an edited down version of the main series, which is much longer. And at points, it feels a bit like watching a YouTube video where someone's just edited together a recap, because you get these voiceovers that like,
okay,
war's happening, and here's all these people attacking this thing for this reason.
Hello.
Welcome back, Wills.
How was it without me?
It was fine. The people called for anime, so I was discussing Gundam.
Oh no. I'm very upset.
You're here to
with
rescue
the
them.
people.
The people have called for it.
Oh, that doesn't
Look,
mean you should give them what they want.
The Rock has the people's elbow. I have the people's anime.
People's anime. I love that for you to be your finishing move.
I mean, it's finished off a number of people
It
in my time.
yeah.
It finishes almost every conversation I'm a part of.
All right, here we go. No one wanted sounds from his mic so far. Okay, good. That's fine. Thank you.
I was saying that,
Chulak too.
like, they would hear it, but I wouldn't, so...
Yeah, it would be...
As you left, I was like, Wills, make sure your thing's set up.
It would at least be not as uncomfortable for you. Just for the live chat. All right. Let's get some more bone paint on this guy.
Alrighty.
Doing his little nose bones.
This big bronze flamer. Look at that.
Ooh, that is very bronze.
Yeah.
Show off.
Just...
Very, very bronze.
You know, I don't think flamers are actually made of bronze. Bronze has quite a low melting temperature, so probably not the best, but...
There's a difference between the material and the finish, you know?
Yeah.
You can have a bronze finish without being
This is true.
actually bronze.
And also, I just thought it would look good, and that's what I'm here for.
That is the main
yeah.
thing. That's the most important thing in this biz. Does it look sick as hell?
Do I paint these guns? I might do just that, you know?
Daniel Trick says, do you know of any RPGs to do a Pacific Rim style game? I reckon it would make a brilliant one-shot. There is...
Yeah.
Lancer would be
Lancer is a
great
good
for that,
one.
Yeah.
What's the blade? There is a one built on Forge in the Dark that I now can't remember the name of. That's another mech because Lancer is very crunchy. Like Lancer is
Yes.
probably the go-to mech RPG nowadays, but it's a complex,
It's basically
big
a miniatures game. Yeah.
Yeah. So you control the pilot, and then you get in the mech, and then, like Will says, you then play out on a hex grid battles.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something that in depth, it's good. If not, I'm really struggling. There is one that is built on Forged in the Dark. So if you search Forged in the Dark mech game, you'll probably
it'll
find
come
it.
up.
But I can't remember what it's called at this moment. It's an indie RPG. It's available on itch. It's, I think, a few quid.
Please do remind us of the title if you do find it.
Yes, yeah, let us shout it out. You know what? I'm actually gonna quickly Google it myself because I want to give it a proper shout out. Forged in the
Beam Saber.
That's the one. Thank you. You beat me to it.
Thank you, King
Once
Wazza.
again, our chat beats Google.
It's the power
Beam
of the
Saber is the
collective
one.
minds of humankind.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't actually played a mech RPG myself, despite liking mechs.
I was about to say, I can't think of anyone more qualified on the team, to be honest.
I think
God, you've got a lot of bronze out.
I know it came out very fast. I'm sorry. Now I've got to
Fine,
make
it's not
use of
my
it. It's like I bulk bought bronze, or the Space
Well,
Marines have, and now I
so-
need to use it in everything to justify my purchase.
Matt, to sell you on the wet palette, the best thing about this is you can put that lid on, and
And it
that'll be
stays
ready
there.
for you for the next few
That
days.
is good.
Yeah.
I was saying to Wills that I'm not a real miniatures painter yet because I don't actually use a wet palette. And then Wills criticised my kitchen towel setup, where I just use bits of kitchen towel, which, as he rightfully pointed out, actually dries your paint out, so it's not the best tactic.
No, it's not fantastic. It literally draws out the water. Whereas the wet palette does the opposite. Keeps it hydrated.
Strong tone.
That's why it's so good.
Just looking for that's grey. That's
off it?
white. Just looking for like black paint. Dark stone. That's not quite it. Necromancer cloak. That's kind of like a bluish black.
There should be a black somewhere.
Yeah. I mean,
I would assume it's next to white, but
yeah, it wasn't. Those are speed paints. Oh, that's a grim black. There we go.
there we go. Grimdark black.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It is wild how good this already looks.
That is genuinely very impressive.
I feel like I'm cheating. Like this is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Again, we are really not sponsored. Like, they sent us these paints, but we are under no kind of like financial fee. This is the first time I've used them, and I'm really quite impressed by how effective they are.
Yeah, I did not want to use these because of any kind of press release or anything. I wanted to use these because I saw, I think it was Dana Howell talk about them on YouTube and sort of comparing them to contrast paints, because I've been meaning to try contrast paints, like I literally hadn't tried them before, and still haven't really. And then I saw them like go through and say like these are even better. I was like, oh okay, well let's do those then. I was quite excited for them to come out, and then Army Painter were kind enough to send some over. And I have graciously repaid them by forgetting the title of their company about 20 times during the stream. So you're welcome, Army Painter, but thank you very much for sending these out again. Full disclosure, not sponsored, but they were free.
So yeah, one of the things, by the way, that I really like about this tank is that you can just literally pop these little guns off.
It is handy, yeah.
And you can make different ones and just pop them on if you
You
want.
can swap out the weapons. It's what a lot of people do with magnets. isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes. Yeah.
Where you can just sort of like decide on the day what kind of weapons your model has, rather than.
Yeah. So it actually looks like the loadout you get it for that particular
My least
army.
favourite thing about 40k is trying to figure out what the hell weapons I'm supposed to be putting on them. Where it's just like if I make this decision, this could be like the worst balanced version of my army.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like I need to know what to use, but then obviously I then need to learn how they all work before I've even cracked open the kit, and it's like, ugh.
Yep. Whereas I just picked the ones I thought looked coolest, which
Yeah,
are
exactly.
triple laser cannons, I think. Laser cannons. And
This is why you
then
paint them but not play with them.
the flamer at the top, and then I think the gunner also has a flamer.
Nice.
Uh,
Fire tank.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
All flames all the time.
That's how we do. Right. Yeah, start going down these scales on his back as well. Actually using paint now, so I've got to
Paint.
do a bit more careful about how I cover it. So it's actually going to take some detail out rather than the other one. Ooh. Oh, I hope this angle has been good for you, by the way, chat, because it's always difficult to find sort of the right way to set up the camera and the light to
Yeah.
the best view.
Especially now we've played around with the studio a bit. I say we, the video team have.
Yeah, Matt, you
very
were
graciously.
pivotal. Thank you for all your help on that.
You're so welcome. I did approve that expense when you
did.
bought that stuff, yeah.
And it did
I
approve
clicked
quite
that
quickly.
button and then you did all the hard work. Which was, it was a great makeup for me.
Okay. We are. We're also we're not finished upgrading this set, by the way, because we've got stuff in the works. I'm talking to. This isn't a given because it's quite an expensive project, so it depends on whether or not the company has the budget for it and stuff like that. But we're looking at prettier soundproofing, so we can start using all three walls without having ugly grey in the background. But we literally should have arriving today a nice little coloured RGB LED light panel that we can use to have Dicebreaker LED lights behind us and stuff, which should be really pretty.
Yeah, and I'll say that we'll continue to do the stuff that we've always done, but we're also looking into fun new ideas that we could do. And there are some polls up on the YouTube channel and over on things like Twitter as well, just asking, hey, what do you want to see from us? Because again, that's why we're here. That's why we do this stuff, is ultimately to do the stuff that you enjoy and want to watch and want to share with other folks. So,
Habidosian Chulak 2 says, what are the plans for the rest of the rubble under the dragon? It does look good with the ashy grey, but what are you thinking? I think this colour, I use this as a sort of tester palette to test the colour that I was going to use for the underside of the dragon's, where the sort of belly area is and the underside of the wings. And this came out way too dark and sepia. But also, I think it doesn't contrast enough with the actual model that I don't think it would be a great complement to it. So I probably won't use this colour. I think I will use more of a grey, sort of rubble kind of, like a sort of concrete-y kind of colour. Because I think that will, with the sort of bright colours of the dragon, that will sort of contrast a bit better. And then I've got a nice base paint that I can put on the bottom. I think I do want to properly finish this guy up as well, so I'm probably going to paint him at home.
it's a lovely model.
It is,
really
yeah,
is.
it's a wonderful model.
How many pieces was it in? Was it?
Do you know what? It didn't actually take that long to put together. I put it together in that meeting we were at. Yeah, do you know that fun
I did see you putting something together.
That is the power of ADHD. But yeah, no, I was. I put it together in a meeting we had with our SEO guy Will. So it was.
I did see you just sprues in the background, and I was like, yeah, that's smart, multitasking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had the stream to do, so
Yeah, that's true.
To paint.
Yeah, mine was just quite fortuitous because I just want to play Horus Heresy, but there's so much in that box.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to just crack into this at some point.
All right. Let's start doing these. Get a little. Oh god, they go out double. Okay, let's bring this paint down a little bit. It's not applying quite as smoothly as I want it to.
Oh,
You okay?
that's meant to be black. Sorry, that's meant to be white, and it's coming out. Maybe I haven't mixed it enough. Interesting.
Well, yeah, as I said, you only really see the darkest pigment when you put it down.
Yeah.
So
I
then
suppose.
see how it comes out when it's. Again, though, mate, I think that is with the assumption that you've got white paint underneath. So
Yeah, that would make sense.
It will come out grey a bit more.
Coming
on
out quite
yours.
grey. I might just do a normal base coat in white, or normal layer in white.
Oh, that's better. This is laying down a little bit more thin now, which is making it a bit easier to get over this texture.
We've only got about 15 minutes left.
I know, it's been whizzed by this one. I'm having so much fun.
It's nice to be back on. It's been a very chill end to the Thursday.
Yeah. we will be back tomorrow with the podcast, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If you've only just tuned in, you're missing us already, then we'll be back at 2 p.m. BST, this British Summer Time, which is GMT +1. And we will be chatting over a feature that we have brought back, because we enjoyed it so much last time we did it, a little while back, where the gang are trying to guess what board game is being spoken about based on the worst reviews we can find on Board Game Geek.
Yep.
Which should be very funny, because it was last time. It means we can read out angry comments in a silly voice.
Turns out people really have opinions about board games.
Oh, yeah. Which you'd think we'd know, really. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those people are us, but hopefully we express them a little more.
Let's butter.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do not. Me included. Well, case in point, me, to be honest.
Oh, I've forgotten to paint that bit. Oh well. I'll do that in a second.
Dustin Sudak says, sounds like a lovely vision for it. If you finish it up at home, will you put photo of the first piece on socials? Absolutely, yeah. It's already looking good, so I feel like I'm going to be proud of enough of it to want to show it off all the time. But if we do another painting stream that I'm on, and I have not yet finished him, I will bring him back in, so I can catch you all up on where he's at. Right now I'm just trying to do this spine so I can put a wash over it and give it that bone colour that I'm looking for. Bit of Agrax Earth Shade. Which I believe we have some here, but if not, I've got some in my case, I think. There we go. Oh god, I'm such a speed paint convert. This is fantastic.
They are good.
I mean, I wasn't that far off already, you know. I was already like, this sounds relevant to my interests.
I'd be interested to try the GW ones when we and see how they compare.
Yeah, to be open, we do have them in the office, but there is a
We can't show you.
there is a press embargo, I'm afraid. So
Yes.
you'll have to wait for a couple of weeks before we can bring them back out. But the brand new contrast line and new washes as well from GW are going to be entering our paint roster. Apparently, so again, I was watching a video on this and someone talking about what they're like. Some of them are like super, super vibrant.
Oh, really?
And he said the one that does yellow is really cool. And it's almost like some of them are just literally a single pigment. So like they won't come out that contrasty, but they'll come out super bright and vibrant. Which if you're looking for like a really good yellow, which is very, very tricky to do with acrylic, then you may just be in luck. And again, as I said at the top of the stream, I'm doing this a little bit messily because I'm rushing to try and get the wash on.
Yeah.
But the lovely thing about natural paint jobs for things like dragons is there's going to be a bit of a blend anyway, so it's fine. Because there's going to be bits that just sort of like merge together, like the orange and the cream will just sort of go into each other. So the lines don't seem quite as defined on this side, which is making it a little bit trickier. But I guess that's just backing up what I just said.
You know what? I'm going to use some of this bronze. I'm going to get it on these guns.
So have you just done 2 colours so far?
Well, I've actually painted these guns in black and white,
Oh, right.
like the barrels. And I don't know why. I just thought I'll do them a colour that's not turquoise.
Yeah, experimenting.
So, yeah.
To be honest, the nice thing about painting something in black and white is if it doesn't work, you can just wash over it with
True.
with the colour you want, and then you at least have got somewhere.
I'm loving this bronze though. I don't paint enough things in bronze. It's just a nice colour, like nice orangey bronze.
Yeah, I like the warmer metallics. Like I have what's it called? Is it Gehenna's Gold?
Oh yeah.
From the Warhammer line. That and then I shove like a Reichland flesh shade gloss wash over it, and it comes out like super warm orange gold, and it's beautiful. It's one of my favourite paint combinations. I use it a lot, so you will see it on my models if you've seen me paint before. It's one of my signatures. It's on my purples. Oh God, what are they called? Stormcast.
Nice. Oh yeah, purple and bronze.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
That's a very rich combo.
It's very like
yeah, I like that.
royal, you know. It's purple with like cream.
Yeah, I was just thinking like bronze armor as well. I think the next time I paint some kind of fantasy thing, might just deck them out in.
You played Dark Souls 3?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know the bronze armor set from that?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a perfect reference for it. It's so good looking.
Like RuneQuest. RuneQuest is an RPG I've always wanted to play more of, and that has that very kind of like Bronze Age feel to it,
Yes.
like very myths and, you know, like mythological and driven around legends and.
Matt, not to call you out, but I can tell you're stalling for time while you brain words because you're like myths and
It's because I was
mythological
sorry. It's because I was also painting around quite a little area there. So half of my brain was on paint around these lines, and half of my brain was trying to think of the word mythological. And I've only got one brain, Wills.
It's doing a great job though, isn't it?
Oh, thank you so much.
We're both doing, as I said at the end of the stream, we're both doing fine detail now.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just I'm kind of dousing these guns a little bit, but it's fine. Oh, that's wet. Just put my finger straight in wet paint.
It happens. It's fine. Right. Okay. For the stream ends, I can do my agrax. That's good. Jan says, I'm disappointed there's no Wipeout Part 2 in the poll.
Well, never say never.
I mean, look, they need some more obstacles for us to tackle because we've kind of done it.
You nailed them the first time around as well. Like Maddie set a new record, right?
Yeah, Maddie was the first person to do it. So, you know, Wipeout, up your game and we'll come down.
Yeah. Where's the, like, publicly accessible Ninja Warrior course or similar?
I will say, like, at the exact same venue, they had an actual water sports course. And I don't know how we mic ourselves up in a way that doesn't end in those mics never being used again. But, like, that seems like a fun upgrade. No, it's in, like, giant inflatables on a lake.
Oh, like that?
Yeah,
okay,
like
right,
actual, you know, you are about to fall in the lake sort of thing.
Oh, my goodness.
So that could be the upgrade that we need, but we'll see about that. Right. I love these little plastic cards, but I always lose them. Oh, and also that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
That is the wrong one. Where does that come from? Okay, well, I've lost it. There we go. Just to prove a point. Yeah, I have no idea where that went.
It'll turn up at some point.
Okay. I'll leave that out. We need the big boy for watching. There he is. Large and in charge. Oh yeah, Liv has put a link to the poll in the chat, by the way. So we're kind of, you know, we're basically, to be nice and transparent, you know, we've got sort of 90,000 odd subscribers here on YouTube, and like not a lot of them are watching our videos. So we want to know why. We want to know what you're after, what kind of content you want to see us make. Want to know, like, are we not making the things that you signed up for that you want to see more of? Obviously, you are watching the stream, so you're tuning in, so you're not necessarily not getting the content that you don't want. But if there is a specific thing that you're after and you want to see us do more of, like, let us know, because we are looking to sort of make ourselves a bit more, well, I don't know about watchable as a word, but it makes us sound like we're crap. But what I mean is we're trying to reach more of our core audience to get a bit more of that. Friendly Attack, for example, wants to see more RPGs. Jan says, still voted for miniature streams. These chill streams are great. I mean, miniatures also includes the playthroughs as well. You know, stuff like Frostgrave and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. which they require a lot more work, but
Yeah,
I think we're
we do
all
want to do more of them,
miniatures
so-
fans, yeah.
Right, Agrax, where you at, my friend? That's null loyal.
Like at some point, I hope we can actually play Horus Heresy in the office. That's why I'm building it, partly. But it's just I'm having to do it in my weekends because it's a big old box.
Oh Jesus, I think it's a fresh pot of Agrax. This
Oh,
fresh and ready to spill.
smell the Agrax.
Wake up and smell the Agrax. Oh, there we go. That's the ticket.
I don't know if the black and white scheme works with the bronze.
Like I said, mate, it's going to be very easy to change. So
Yeah, I know. I think because at one point I was like, I just want them. I don't want to go too. I feel like if I do them in turquoise, they'll just blend into the rest of the thing.
yeah, when you've got one really strong color, it's difficult to know what to sort of like join it with.
I need that color wheel in my head.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Complementary colours. This Agrax is very dark. Not quite as brown as it normally is. So maybe the new one is a bit more pigmented. I don't know if that's the right word, by the way. I keep using it.
Pigmented.
I've heard people talk about pigments recently, and now it's in my brain.
Oh, it's 2 minutes too. Blimey.
Jeez.
Time flies when you're painting this large tank.
Or this large dragon. I'm just going to get in the recesses of these head horns. Nice. Some shadowing in that.
Oop. Drop a bit of turquoise around here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love when a plan
That's
comes
looking
together.
good. Yeah, that's a good looking dragon. There's one handsome dragon.
If you will.
And I'll say also, speaking of stuff we're just, trying out, we're always trying new ideas, seeing how they go down. Over on the website, we recently did a little preview of Arcs, which is the new game from Cole Worley of Root and Oath fame. And me and Chase and I recorded our thoughts in a little conversation, and then we also put those thoughts on the website, so you can either read it or you can watch the video. And again, it's something we've not done before, we're trying something new, so if you check it out, I hope you check it out and I hope you enjoy it, but also let us know if that's the kind of thing you like, if that's how you like to hear about games and get an idea of, how they work and what we think about them when we played them. Because sometimes board games, tricky to talk about and even trickier to share that with the world in a way that people are excited to read.
A big thank you to Alex Afer when I was out with those.
Yes, yeah.
Did some,
in-house video producer, Alex Amber.
doing some
Thank
editing
you.
for us, which is very nice of him. Oh yeah. Love all these sort of like divots where the musculature of the arms are, because you can just sort of go around the edges and get a nice little.
You know what? I keep looking at Dragon. I'm like, I should just treat myself to a big dragon miniature.
Yeah.
I mean, I got this tank and about 60 Space Marines to do first, but after
I
that,
should definitely buy a new miniature. That's what I need.
I do need to put together my Frostgrave squad.
Yes, you
Saying
do.
this
You need to
earlier.
play it with us.
Yeah, we should play Frostgrave. I've got the boxes sat around. I just need to put them together. I've been
Yeah.
distracted by Warhammer.
You also need to bring the boxes back in at some point. So.
Yes, yeah.
There we go. Oh, yes. I'm having a great time with this. It's a shame that we haven't got more time to spend with you.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid we're going to have to call this one a day. Right. I'm just going to clean this brush and I will show you where I'm currently at. And this is 2 hours work, I just want to point out. Like this took literally no time whatsoever. They don't call them speed paints for nothing. Because that is a fantastically detailed miniature, considering
That's really impressive.
yeah,
I've got to say.
considering how little time it took. All of that beautiful orange, literally just one paint shade. I've just put a wash on the bone on the spine here. Oh, it looks fantastic. I'm so chuffed with that.
Yeah, that's great.
And then again, all that underside on the underbelly. Especially just 1 or 2 paints. Yeah, fantastic. And then
Amazing work.
on the other side,
Here's the...
Matt's big turquoise
Yeah.
tank. Looking great.
Thank you.
Look at that. All the cheaper speed paints.
Yeah, get those bronze tracks shining.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that shine. Beautiful. Looking great.
Very easy target on the battlefield, but it looks fantastic.
Look, it's all about the flex of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know you can see me.
Yeah.
Can you flip and hit me?
Take your shot.
All right. Oh, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I am going to go in the
Go
stream.
turn on
Matt,
the
are
thing.
you okay to do a little video outro?
Of course I am, Wills. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Of course, this is our forever home on youtube.com/Dicebreaker. You can go check out everything else we do over on dicebreaker.com. And if you're a fan of stuff like this, you can get more of it by just chucking us a little money each month if you can do that. We appreciate it. And getting a few more videos for you worth by signing up to Dicebreaker Plus. We will be back tomorrow with the live Dicebreaker podcast from 2 p.m. BST. And as Will said, we will be... I can't remember what we're doing on the podcast, Will. Oh, we're guessing board games from their worst board game geek reviews. That's the one. And chatting about everything else we've been playing recently. But if you joined us for that, we appreciate it. If you joined us for this, we appreciate it too. Thank you for supporting us. But for now, until we meet again, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and have a lovely day. Goodbye.